Today in Across the Fence, we're celebrating Vermont's maple season with the state's maple ambassadors. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Every year, 2 young Vermonters are selected to serve as ambassadors of our state's signature product. 2 new ambassadors will be chosen later this month at the Vermont Maple Festival, and along with the title, the winners receive a $2,000 scholarship. To find out more about the benefits and the responsibilities that go along with the title, I'm joined by the current Maple ambassadors. Erika Farnham is from Plainfield and Beauparlant is from West Danville. Thanks so much for coming in. Tell us a little bit about how you became Maple ambassadors. Erika, why don't you start?
To become a Maple ambassador, we originally wrote an essay and submitted it. And from there, we went to the Maple Festival in St. Albans, and we were basically interviewed by a panel of judges. And from there, we were elected Maple ambassadors.
Tell us a little bit about the interview process. What did they ask you?
The interview process asked us everything from how much sap does it take to make a gallon of maple syrup in Vermont, to our background in the sugaring industry, and just some other questions about sugaring, just to kind of get an idea for what we know about the industry and also how we look at the industry going forward, what we're going to do to kind of change the industry and promote the Vermont maple products.
Now, when were you first elected ambassadors?
We were elected in April in 2016.
And so it's been a year.
Yeah.
So Erika, are you from a sugaring family?
I am. My sugaring family is located in Plainfield. We started our operation about 5 years ago, and it's grown tremendously.
Mm-hmm. How big is it?
We have about 5,500 taps.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And how has the operation changed since you've started it?
When we originally started, we started on a turkey cooker, and we had about 40 taps, and now we have a reverse osmosis machine and a 3x10 arch, and it's grown a lot since then. The reverse osmosis process has helped our operation quite a bit as well.
Now, how does that work exactly when people hear reverse osmosis or RO?
Yeah, sure. So a reverse osmosis is basically composed of a bunch of different membranes, and the sap is forced through it, which holds back the sugar content, making the sap a higher percentage, basically. Mm-hmm. So it takes a lot less time and a lot less sap to produce syrup.
And Jack, tell me about your experiences.
Absolutely. So I started sugaring with my father when I was around 10 years old, helping him out at a sugar bush of one of his friends, followed him around the woods, did everything from tapping with him to boiling, collecting sap, did everything that had to do with the sugaring operation at that time. More recently, I've started working for Erika's family, mm-hmm. Pretty much full-time in the wintertime and helping out this time of year when it's really busy. So it's been a really great experience, and I've learned a lot and have really got to see the operation there grow, and really have had a great time helping out with that as well.
Now,
a lot of work.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before we started taping this program about the Maple Open House Weekend, which was just this past weekend, and you said you had a lot of people come through.
Absolutely. So this was our first open house weekend for the Sugar House, and mm-hmm. we didn't really know what to expect. We actually were expecting around 100 people a day, just kind of what we thought we might have. With our location, it's not really right off a main road. So, but with the help of a lot of marketing that we did through Facebook, and also with the Vermont Maple Sugar Makers Association, their website really helped out a lot and promoted it for us. So we actually had close to 800 to 1,000 people there, we estimated, which was tremendous. And we really got to promote it. Eric and I were there wandering around with our sashes and really trying to promote the maple industry and teach people there's more to use maple syrup than just on their pancakes. With all of our value-added products, we make popcorn and almonds and maple cotton candy. There's really a lot more things you can do with maple syrup than just on the pancakes, which is really what we've tried to promote as a Maple ambassadors.
And so, Erika, were people surprised to see you with your sash on? They have a lot of questions for you?
Yeah, they had a lot of questions. Some are just the regular questions that were always asked, and others were just about what we do as maple sugar ambassadors.
Mm-hmm. Overall, what's your favorite part of maple sugaring?
I really like the drawing off of the syrup, and I think that it's a really exciting part of the sugaring, just seeing how everything comes together and makes that final product.
How about for you, Jack?
I have to agree with Erica, only because, I'm involved in everything from start to finish, whether it means hanging tubing in the woods to, drawing off syrup. So it's really, kind of watching the syrup come off the evaporator is really the finished product as far as, everything goes, and it's really extremely rewarding. Although I think another really favorite part of mine is seeing the sap just coming into the tanks from our tubing. It's, it's really rewarding. It's a fun time of year. Spring's, it's sunny, it's nice out. It's a really fun time of year. And I think anyone that has been around maple sugaring, especially in Vermont, would, I think, agree with me that it's just a really exciting time of year. Spring's here, summer's coming. It's, it's nice. It's really great.
And there's fresh syrup.
Exactly.
Is there any aspect of maple sugaring that you want consumers to know more about?
I would say, like I said before, there's more to syrup than just on pancakes. So we're trying to really, as maple ambassadors and at our own sugar house, we're really trying to push that you can use maple syrup for other things. Use it as a sweetener. Our maple granulated sugar, you can use 1-for-1 to white granulated sugar. So there's no reason to not substitute it. And really, you're supporting local, you're supporting the state of Vermont, and a neighbor that might make the maple syrup. And you're also, it's more healthy. It's been proven that it's a higher antioxidants in maple syrup than white sugar. And if you look at any charts, it'll show you that maple syrup and maple sugar is the healthiest sugar that you can have on this planet. So there's, I think that would be an aspect to sugaring that I think a lot of people don't really understand. And it really surprises people. So we try to explain that to them as much as possible.
I agree completely. There's a lot of benefits of marketing syrup other than just regular syrup. It can be used for a lot of different things, and I think that's really important for consumers to understand that it has a lot of amazing benefits. So.
Well, now this year's Maple Festival is coming up. It's April 28th through the 30th in St. Albans. The website has all the information about that 3-day event. It also has information about becoming a 2017 Maple Ambassador. What does the Maple Festival mean to each of you? Do you have a favorite part of it, Erika?
My favorite part was the parade. I was very surprised at how many people showed up to that. I had no idea what to expect. We waved for probably
over
30.
An hour.
It was amazing. Yeah, definitely.
And I think having all those people there really shows that maple is such an important industry in the state of Vermont and to other states. It's it really goes to show us that we're really in a great industry, and a lot of people are affected by maple. So seeing, as we rounded the corner on I'm assuming Main Street in St. Albans, we rounded the corner in a convertible waving, and it was just amazing to see all the people that were lining the streets. It was really, really amazing.
Now, what were some of the things that you've done during the past year as Maple Ambassadors?
We've gone to several events. We went to Maple Rama and
We went to Eastern States Exposition in Springfield, Mass.
Lots of different fairs and field days, and
we went to a couple open houses for different sugar makers throughout the state. We worked at our own open house. We did some parades. Pretty much anything that had to do with maple or where there was a lot of agriculture, we tried to be there and tried to promote the industry for the state.
And what was the reaction from the sugar houses that you visited?
They were really excited to have us there, and we did a few speeches at a few of them, which was interesting that they incorporated us into their event, which was really nice.
I actually was able to go to the governor's tree tapping this year in Randolph at a sugar house in Randolph, and that was really neat to see, all the people from the state. Over the course of the year, Erika and I have had the opportunity to meet a lot of people from UVM Extension, Proctor Research Center, a lot of integral people that are really, doing a lot of hard work for us sugar makers in the state. Henry Marquise, I watched him do a speech on tasting maple syrup and finding off flavors in syrup and making sure that we're producing the most quality maple syrup that we possibly can. And that is really cool. So when I was at the governor's tree tapping, I actually was recognized by a lot of these people that are relatively high up in the state of Vermont and, in doing the research. And I thought that meant a lot to me. That was pretty cool. At 20 years old, to be able to be recognized by these people that, have such a key part in our industry was really, really cool.
And so what did you take away from the experience?
I thought it was really amazing. I've made a lot of really great connections with people, and I'll be able to continue to develop those relationships as I continue being active in the Vermont maple industry.
I think, I've grown up in Vermont my entire life, and I've grown up around sugaring, and I've grown up around sugar houses and always have had pure Vermont maple syrup. And I think, really figuring out that there's not everyone in this world knows about Vermont maple syrup. And so it was really kind of cool to go, eastern states, we met a lot of people that had never had maple syrup. And it was kind of eye-opening to me. So I kind of took it away as like, we can really do something with this, and there's a lot of people in this world that don't know about it. So it was, it kind of gave me a little inspiration to really go out and try to market this great product.
What were some of the crazy questions that you got asked, maybe at Eastern States, or people who don't know anything about maple?
We actually got asked yesterday at our own sugar house why we can't just choose the grade. So there's the 4 different grades of maple syrup in the state of Vermont, and people, we don't really think about it because we know that it's not up to us, for the grades, and
right.
that was kind of interesting that people may have thought that. So it was kind of rewarding to explain to them that we don't choose the grade. It has to do with the trees, and that's just how it is. And it was kind of interesting that people may have thought that it's we add something or take something away.
Right.
Something maybe as simple as, I don't know, food coloring, I guess, because a lot of times it's just promoted on the color, not even just the taste. So that was definitely kind of eye-opening.
Has being a maple ambassador changed your opinion about the maple industry?
Absolutely. I think it really opened my eyes up to how really big it is in the state. I knew that, sugaring was a very key industry in the state of Vermont, but there's a lot of time and money that is invested in especially research. The Proctor Research Center, the UVM Extension, the UVM, and many other places, the Vermont Maple Sugar Makers Association, puts a lot of time and effort into researching for sugar makers and how much support there is for us sugar makers.
The Maple Conference was actually held in Burlington, Vermont this year, which was also really interesting. And I didn't really ever think of maple syrup being out of Vermont just because I've always been in Vermont. But there was a lot of people that came from around the world, really.
It was the International Maple Conference,
Yeah.
so there was folks there from Canada, there was folks there from Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. It was all over, so that was really neat, and we got to meet a lot of really neat people there and talk to a lot of neat people, and actually do a little bit of speech and kind of show that the state of Vermont takes a lot of pride in folks like Erika and I. I think a lot of people thought it was really neat that there was 2 19, 20-year-olds there promoting this industry for them. And I think a lot of other states don't have that opportunity. So, it's something very unique to the state of Vermont.
Do you see yourselves being involved in maple sugaring in the future?
Definitely, yes.
Absolutely. It's really something that I've taken, over the last year and really actually thought about turning it into my career, at least half the year, in the wintertime, especially, unless we keep growing and it turns into a year-round operation. But it's definitely something that I want to keep doing in my life.
Do you have any concerns about the future of Vermont maple syrup?
I think a lot of people correlate that to global warming.
Right.
And I think it's just, slowly changing our season. Our season seems to progressively be getting closer, earlier in the year. As a matter of fact, I know sugar makers that were all tapped and making syrup in January this year. We, unfortunately, in our area, we didn't have those sap runs, so, we were later into February. I think, we're never going to lose our maple trees, at least not in our lifetime, but, maybe in, 1,000 years we very well might. But I think, global warming right now, it maybe is only going to change how early our season comes. It might end our season a little earlier, it might shorten our season, but, last year we saw, a tremendous year. We made almost a half a gallon of syrup per tap last year, which is almost double what you expect on an average year. So
Fantastic.
It definitely isn't slowing down.
Now, Erika, you're both in school. Where are you going to school?
I'm going to Johnson for wellness and alternative medicine.
And how about you?
I go to Vermont Tech in Randolph, and I am there right now, currently in a 2-year program for the landscape design and sustainable horticulture program. But after this year, after I graduate in May, I'll be going on for another 2 years in the business administration program for majoring in entrepreneurship.
Excellent. Well, as we mentioned, the annual Maple Festival starts April 28th in St. Albans, and that's when 2 new Maple ambassadors will be chosen. Any tips for someone who might want to become an ambassador?
I think that they should be really confident in what they're saying. I definitely think that anyone who is even remotely interested in becoming a Maple ambassador should apply for it. It's I think that we ran up against 5 other people, so it's not a very popular thing, which surprises me. So I definitely encourage anyone who's thinking about it to try running for it.
And quickly, what do you think you're going to remember most about being a Maple ambassador for Vermont?
I think just, meeting all the people that I actually did. I took, a lot of pride in that, meeting people that were, so integral in our industry. I think that's really what I'm going to take away the most. It was definitely a great opportunity just to walk up to someone who I may not have walked up to if I didn't have this Vermont Maple Ambassador sash on, and shake their hand, tell them who I was, and maybe ask them who they were if I didn't know them. And I've met a lot of really neat people, and they took me seriously because of this title. And I hope that they would take anyone else seriously that came up and asked them questions, but it definitely was a great opportunity.
How about for you, Erika?
I definitely think that the relationships that we developed over the last year have been really wonderful, and I'll continue to be able to carry on those relationships as I continue being a part of the Vermont Sugar Makers Association, and I think it's really wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and spending some time with us as ambassadors. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, the annual Vermont Maple Festival is April 28th through the 30th in St. Albans. The schedule and information and application materials for the Maple Ambassadors is on the website, and you can also call. That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.